Hello everyone, Mr. Gentleman here. How am I coming through? Glad to have you back for more Final Fantasy IV. We have Cecil here waiting on shore, and I am waiting for the chat to catch up to my voice because there is a delay. How are you, everyone? Oh, sorry for the echo. Apologies for that. Okay, so, as the live chat catches up to me, we have left off from the last part with Cecil alone on the shore. Leviathan attacked our ship, everyone basically fell overboard, and we now have Cecil here, all alone, and here's this city which will hopefully give us refuge. I'm sure that they are full of completely and totally nice people who will accept us. After this battle, of course. Always something, right? I should have used dark. Always on stream, something has to happen. Someone said FF5 has a better story than 4? That's an interesting take. If he prefers a game that is more adventure-based, and he enjoys the comedy, I can see it. 5 also has some crazy concepts that I do like. 4 definitely has the better character, though, in Cecil. You, take this. Toad. And now I am a frog. So, this is the town of Mysidia, where Cecil led the Red Wings to in order to take their crystal. And as you can see, I have been paid back by being turned into a toady little creature here. Can you change me back, please? I would appreciate it. I used his toad to untoad me. Well, at least the people will sell stuff to me. We'll purchase stuff in a second. Okay. Hopefully the rest of these residents, won't be that mean to us. Excuse me, sir. Head up into the inn. What does this notice say? Never forgive Baron, never forgive or forget Baron's raid. Well, we can see these people don't exactly forgive us. Well, the dancers are always really nice to us, so maybe this dancer will be nice to us as well. This dance seems a little different from the other ones. I have a feeling this isn't going to turn out so well. Oink oink. And now we've been turned into a pig by an old lady who leaps off. Wow. Yeah, in a lot of ways Cecil sort of deserves this. But at the same time, he's trying to he's trying to repent, but yeah, it's a tough and long journey because the people don't exactly forgive him. It's sad that other humans hurt each other. Oh, we're sorry, guy. We're trying. Oh, this is the Toad guy again. I don't want to be toaded again. I should have turned my phone off. I apologize for that. Let me do that right now. Okay, alright. We are a Toad. Let's talk to these white mages. Yes, the Devil's Road is named because it saps the stamina of its travelers. Yes, that's how we will get back to Baron later on. But let's talk to everyone else in the inn if they will have us, toady-type creatures. I can't, I'm a frog. This is Naming Way. Naming Way will just change our name as usual. Here, have a drink of me. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. And now I'm poisoned. That I can at least solve right away. Antidote. Okay, Cecil, hang in there. People getting drunk. That's how bad we affected this city. If when I get back there, you know, I'll try to convince the king to, okay? Riemann M? No, every PSP version has the ATB glitch. There is one version of the Game Boy Advance version that doesn't have the ATB glitch, and that is the European version 1.1. I don't know if a ROM exists of it, but if it does, it plays pretty close to the original. Aside, you know, from the lower quality music and the lower quality graphics. Alright, exit. Like I mentioned in the last episode, Final Fantasy isn't known for its NPCs. But what makes, you know, 4 stand out a little is that it has some interesting ones, and Mysidia is probably my favorite city in this game because people do, you know, react to what you did, and they do, like, all have very individual answers to what happened to them. Like, you know, they all feel like individual people who are all reacting to what you did in their own way. Some are angry, some are angry, some are drunk, some basically take their anger out back on you. We're just selling a few things just to make a little money because we are going to have to make some purchases. I'll keep that bomb fragment, that will be useful. If I remember to use it. The problem with items is always that, you know, you keep them just for that moment and you forget to use them when, you know, when they would be their most useful. No, I would like to buy from you. No, actually I don't need these quite yet. Oh, so the Japanese 1.1 has it as well. That's interesting. I haven't heard that. The glitch lasts until maybe a little past halfway into the game. It affects the speed in a certain way, and as a result, it affects the formula. And the way, like, it affects the formula, it's a little complicated for me to answer on stream. I'll have to explain it in a future video. But yeah, the way it will continuously, like, affect the formula until about halfway. Okay, we have some equipment that we can't use yet, but you know what? We are going to buy some of it anyway. I'll grab the light helmet, I'll grab a light shield, and I'll grab a light gauntlet. And we'll see if we need that other stuff as we go on. Ultra Zappy, no, 4 is not connected to 2. All Final Fantasies take place in their own universe. With the exception of things like Final Fantasy X and X-2, or if you have 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, all of those take place, you know, in their own universe. And this guy leaps off. I'm not gonna harm you, guy. Also, this joke of continuously jumping until they're off screen, that was in Final Fantasy III as well with Sid. I guess they liked the gag so much that they, you know, they decided to bring it back. Oh, come back here. I accidentally skipped your next. I'm sorry, guy. Trying my best to change. Look, I was stranded here, alright? Well, I hope one day you can, sir. Okay, let's make sure nothing's here before we speak to the Elder to advance the plot. Oh, one person over here. But yes, like I said, I really do like this city. How do innocent babies grow up to be evil men? I was an orphan? Sorry, guy. Okay, let's speak to the Elder. That may be true, but perhaps Cecil can change a bit. Yes, this is the same thing that the King of Fabul said. We cannot rely on the Dark Sword to defeat evil. Very good, very good, well done symbolism. Perhaps simple, but it is very well done. It's very well realized. And we must go to Mount Ordeals. Probably one of my favorite dungeons in the game. I'm probably not going to livestream the other versions of 4. If I have time, after I do this after I complete this version of 4, maybe I'll livestream the Lunar Ruins from the GBA version, but that might be it. I will include mention and the differences within future videos, though. Not live streams, but as part of the History of RPG series. Then you will become a Paladin. This game was it was the first one in which the Paladin class showed up. It really is a take on the Knight class from previous games. But yeah, it's kind of an advanced version of that. But I do think that Sakaguchi wanted to use the name Paladin because, it does have those connotations of being a holy knight. I've always never liked this trope of no one has ever returned from there. But if that's the case, how did people become paladins in the past? If no one ever came back from there, why are you sending 2 kids with me? Yeah, it's just a trope that, I do think they add to dramatize, but does feel a little silly. And here we meet Param and Palom. I think that's how you pronounce it. Param? Yes, I suppose I am eternally grateful, sir. Yeah, maybe I could do After Years, but I'd have to figure out how to hook up my PSP to my computer, or I'd have to get it on the what's it called, the PSTV store. We'll see. It is possible, Medicare, that they were just, hyping it up, but it is a common trope in a lot of RPGs, where they'll say, no one has ever returned from this place. Palom is the troublemaker, while Porum is the more ladylike one. Thank you, Porum. At least I get some respect in this city. What's up? And we get 2 new mages. We'll see their abilities when we get to combat. Oh, whoops. Yeah, he just says go to Mount Ordeals. And they're both already in the back row. That's very convenient. And I don't remember how optimized they were. Iron ring, leather, plumed. And Palom, rod, plumed, leather. I think I can upgrade their weapons, and that's about it. Yes, Wiseman, I definitely do think that they decided to take the classes in 3 and then decide to build a story around them. And I think that's what makes 4 still very unique. That, they took these classes, and it wasn't just that they had them, but that there are stories built around them. That, you know, Cecil the Dark Knight, and it reflects his inner darkness, but then he becomes a paladin. And I always felt that more games should have done that. Alright, what do they have? Just want to check one more time. They're plumed. Okay, we'll grab 2 wizard hats and 2 Gaia. Not enough gil, okay. Let's switch out some equipment. Gaia gear. Wizard helmet. Yeah. A lot of people take for granted how fast it is to equip stuff in this game. Because if you play any of the older Final Fantasies on NES, man, menuing takes some time. Yeah, it's not something that occurs quite quickly. Another thing we take for granted today is how things auto-sort, because they did not in this version. Let's see, let's see, what can I sell? Just 50 gil? I'm gonna sell all of these. Because they're not gonna be very useful right now. Sell by 10. Because I would like to make sure that my equipment, is pretty good for the next section. Gotta sell a few more things. How's everyone doing? What are you, how is... I didn't sell something important, did I? Oh, jeez. Talking and streaming at the same time. Very, very, a little difficult, just a little. And you know what, Wiseman? I do like the design of Cecil in-game compared to Amano's designs. Amano's designs can be very hit or miss for me. I'm gonna make sure that I have Wizard, Gaia Gear, Wizard, Leather. Okay. So just have to buy that Gaia Gear and we'll be pretty set. There we go. Did I sell the gauntlet by accident? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I kinda did. Oh my gosh. Wiseman, I've never done that before, but I will do that. That sounds like an interesting concept to do. Sounds. I think there's like an Elder Scrolls game where like somebody does that for like the big like spirit quest you have to do in like the 3rd game. And will I get them right? No, because you know what? They'll be. I think the healing rod can be used from the menu. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's get the. Let's just get it. The staff, and give her the healing, and we'll change it up with the flame rod. Now, if I have any money left, I will go get some high potions. Just a little money left. Oh, really, Wiseman? You lose this? I never noticed that you lose your equipment. Huh, that's interesting. And just in case we get stoned again, because that happened last time, I'll get that as well. Okay, now we are off. Finally. And we will save. and do one for the restaurant, and we are off. Okay, now we are on to Mount Ordeals. Battle already. Common enemies. That should take care of them, yeah. We won't be running into much trouble outside of the zoo, the really big bird, until we get there. Pretty simple enemies up until then. Chat, how are you? What are you guys, what games are you guys playing right now? My voice is going weird? How so? How is it now? Is it on? Is it off? Uh-oh, that's not good, if it sounds robotic. Testing. Tell me how that testing sounded. Better? Okay, good. I think my mic came loose. Yeah, I think my mic came loose, like I pushed it back in, just to make sure, and oh wow, Porum starting to lose some HP. We'll heal them up really quickly, once we get out of this fight. Okay. Oh, did it get bad again? Disappearing for 1 second. What can I do? Let me see. Hopefully it's not a connection issue. Let me unplug it, then plug it back in. Let me see what happens. Testing. How about now? How about now, guys? Is it better? Or is it still stuttery? Fixed? Okay, excellent. Thank you for your help, guys. Hopefully it won't happen again. Otherwise, poor Porum will die in combat again. Okay, let's head on up. Alright, as I was saying before, what are you guys playing now? Playing anything interesting? Right now, I beat the first front mission for the first time. That is a great strategy RPG. I'm a pretty big mech guy as well, so having mechs that customizable, that was it was really great, really great experience. And right now I'm playing the, I guess you would say it's a side game, Front Mission Gun Hazard, which is like, it takes place in an alternate universe to the original, but it's a 2D side-scrolling RPG rather than a strategy game. Let's make use of that MP. Yeah, Mega Man X is a game I played since I was a kid. Those games are great. Though could never quite really like gel with the third game. Always really awkward to me, and it doesn't help that that as a kid, I didn't own it. I owned 1, 2, and 4, but 3 I never owned, so I suppose I don't have that childhood rapport with it. Okay, and here we are at Mount Ordeals. If you try to come here, you won't be able to pass this. You do have to Bring Porum and Pollen with you in order to proceed. I'm glad you started the Ease series, Riemann. It's so good. Like Ease 1 and 2 are games that I personally love. Here we have some banter between Porum and Pollen. Yeah, gonna have to work on that arrogance part. Okay, and here we go. Meanwhile, in the villain's lair. And we have our first of the 4 fiends. Charlie Fox, while yes, it is true that Cecil has that cool dark ability, in terms of stats, if you would like compare where Dark Knight Cecil is at like level 40 or so, or like 30 or 40 or so with if you compare Dark Knight and Paladin, Paladin completely outclasses Dark Knight. So like the sheer damage like you do against bosses is so much higher. Here we have the first Fiend, Scarmiglione. Fiends were in the first game, but they receive new names and identities here. There's a lot of like Christian symbolism in this game, so they named the 4 Fiends after demons from Dante's Inferno. That's where they come from. Man, does Rosa have to stand up, tied up all day long? It's really unfortunate. At least get a cell for her. We'll see about that. Yeah, Dark Knight is a cool job. Oh, there's that inner darkness with Cain. Ouch. And back to our heroes. Okay, let's begin the climb. Few treasures here. Of course, an enemy always seems to happen. Okay, I'm gonna do. You know what? I'll do it in a future one. Let's just. I think it would make more sense fighting some zombies. Black. Oh. I think these guys are weak to healing stuff already. I can't remember if these specifically are. Stuff like zombies I know are. Nope, they're not. I think that you just a physical attack them? Okay, yeah. Because most enemies on this mountain are immune to the Dark Sword. It's very much part of the game. Very much part of the symbolism that, you know, Cecil's sword can only take him so far. Which I really like. I like the idea that, you know, the dungeon and the enemies are used to play into the storytelling. Again, it's something that, you know, future Final Fantasy is very much missing. Charlie Fox, I think in the US version, Scarmiglione was localized as Mylon Z, his second form, I believe was. That was always an odd name for a boss. You know, I don't think there has been a Final Fantasy game where, you know, monsters are helpful. Maybe there are a few stray examples. That's mostly a Dragon Quest thing, really. Welcome, Subledger. Yes, we will be becoming a paladin very soon. Potion. Nice, because it replaced the one we just used. The what's it called? The one speed is really becoming active at this point. I'm really noticing that, you know, the enemies are getting in a lot more turns than usual. You know, I might run from these enemies in the future, if just because they might be the most annoying enemies on this entire mountain. Because like I don't think they have a magical weakness of any kind. Whereas, like, you know, all the other enemies, you can use fire, you can heal them, and it always works out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna run from these guys in the future. They kind of take too much time. And we learn Fyra, which will be useful later. Nice to have someone who can cure very quickly. Okay, he already has fire in the first spot. That will be useful. You know what, just to... For now, we're going to put Fyra in the second position, just in case I need it. I've also been playing Landgrisser for the first time. Here's a good example. Just to show it, I'll have Cecil attack. He does decent damage to them, but not great damage. Horum, who is our white mage, is actually, you know, much better offense here due to what her white magic offers against the enemies. Wiseman, yep, maybe, yeah, most likely I will. I like better translations. I like more accurate translations. I want to, you know, get the story in a way that, you know, is as close to the original intent as the creators as possible. I find that to be very important. And it's always unfortunate, you know, when the version we got turned out to be, you know, so inferior, or it felt like that, you know, we missed something in the process. And fire, and that should hopefully end it. Going back to the translation thing that Wiseman asked, what was one that I really liked? Breath of Fire 2. If you ever play that, that should absolutely be played with the retranslation. The localization is very shoddy. And it kind of does, you know, it really does a disservice to that game. Okay, gotta cure up, because that was a bit of a tough fight. Yeah, that one speed, the one speed inactive is really coming into play. But we should be getting some help. And, yep, here is Tella. Tella is a huge help at this point. His magic really does add something to the team, especially on this mountain where they have so many weaknesses. Tella is looking for the Meteor spell, another gameplay element that plays into the story, as we will see. Yes, Subledger, Breath of Fire 2 should be played with retranslation, because it has really good moments. It should also be played with the double experience patch as well, because that game has a lot of encounters, and a lot of them a lot more punishing than they need to be, to say the least. Follow here dropping that they're actually spying on you. And of course, he gets a knock on the head. Tella is a very famous sage, probably from his youth. Well, they all kind of drowned. And of course, that revenge is still in play. Apollo, of course, gossiping while all of this is going on. If any of you have played the original Final Fantasy II localization, I know at some point he makes a Star Trek reference. That was always very out of place. My voice is lagging again? Alright, let me do what I did the last time, and let me see what I can do. Alright, that should hopefully fix it. Let me know while I continue this conversation with Tella. You're too old. Yes, I'm old. Well, Tella took that well. Hello, back row mage. Thank you, Medicer. I really hope this audio problem stops. There's Tella with his vengeful attitude. Why do adults gotta be so pig-headed? You're not growing up anytime soon. Yeah, these two are great. I have not played the After Years as of yet, because I read the story and I read about Cecil's son, and I feel like they could have done so much more with it, but you know, maybe I'm wrong, so I will give it a chance at one point. I like that line, I have longed to renounce this hateful thing. Explanation of Golbez. That he is. Yes, I have. Thank you, Tella. You are much needed at this point. And you know, H.C. Bailey, you know, he makes his Let's Plays interesting by explaining everything, which I'm trying to do, but you know, if he can't make a game interesting, then you know that the game itself is bad. Just want to check my items. Okay. Let's continue. Could be an item over here. I think this is our first encounter with a Lilith, and man, Palom is taking damage. Let's have you heal, and no, you're dead. Yeah, the original stats for Final Fantasy IV, they are quite something. They are quite something. Very different from the version that we got, which was heavily neutered in a lot of ways. You can get a Holy Dragoon in After Years? That's interesting. That might be worth taking a look at. Please cure your brother. The 3D version of 4, it's definitely an extra hard version. I do like it, but you do have to be in the mood for, you know, that high level of difficulty. And you also do need to know what you're doing. Because, like, you do really need to give a certain augment to Cain in order to really get by in that game. Otherwise, the final boss is an absolute nightmare. It's very difficult to beat that final boss without, you know, having given, I think it's the Phoenix augment? Alright, here's a good example of how useless Cecil is. He'll basically hit that zombie for, like, almost nothing. Whoops. Let's use fire on these guys. Yeah, Subledger, I agree. The fact that they, you know, you could so easily miss the augments was a bit off-putting as well. Having a few, you know, missable is, you know, is fine and all, but, you know, to have so many of them be missable, or have so many of them you couldn't get until like a second playthrough, yeah, that was a bit annoying. All right, let me just use fire on these guys. With FF3DS, I actually prefer the NES version. There, you know, there is something special about it, in my opinion. Cecil, throw a potion at these zombies, please. It's probably the best thing you can do at this point. Okay, that didn't do much of anything. Thought that did something. I was so sure that it did. Do you mean Zeromus in like the FF2 version? Yeah, he was a lot easier than, like, say, you know, the original Super Famicom stats. They also strangely changed his design. I don't. I always found that to be a weird decision. Though his design was used in the GBA and PSP remakes for a secret boss, which was cool. Oof, these two are out of MP. And I'm not sure how close or far I am from the save point. I still might be a good distance off. Oh, then Subledger, you know, you'd love, what's it called? What is it? The, I can't remember, the lance from Final Fantasy XII. That, like, if you didn't open the boxes in a certain way, you would miss, like, the best spare in the game. And anyone who's played Final Fantasy XII knows what I'm talking about. That is a missable item among missable items. Yes, I will have to use an ether. I don't mind using them. Yes, the Zodiac Spear, that's it, Charlie Fox. Another fight. Oh geez, this is quite the battle here. Yeah, one thing that I wanted to explain is that some of you have probably noticed that there is no playlist with part 1 of this live stream. And there is Well, no, actually, there is no reason for that. Yeah, let me explain. After, the stream finished, oddly enough, the stream did not appear within my videos. And I looked for it. I looked for evidence of its existence. And, you know, YouTube does recognize that it did exist. You know, the one super chat that I got from there is with, you know, it is within my menu. But oh yes, they hear something here. But, you know, the actual video itself is gone, and I've contacted YouTube. I've asked, you know, a YouTuber that I often talk to, if, you know, or that not that I often talk to, that I often listen to, if he could help me out. And I don't understand what happened to it. And I'm not happy about it, because, you know, that was my first live stream. It went very well, and, you know, I'm really hoping that there's some way that I can get it back. I took precautions this time, making sure to record while I stream, in order to, you know, hopefully, in order to, like, in case YouTube doesn't save this, that I will have the copy of it. But, you know, even if I have to do that, you know, the chat won't be present if I have to, you know, re-upload it that way. So, yeah, disappointing all around. I'm gonna take a few fights here, just to see if I can get a quick level, or at least some experience. Because the 1 speed and the active, it's done a little bit of inducing me, and I am going to run from this. I do not like back situations at all. Run, please. Yes, thank you. Are save spots different on the outside? That is, yeah, I guess it does look a little different. Interesting. Do I like grinding Riemann? It depends on the game. In some games, in some games it can be quite relaxing. It can be, you know, a very, you know, calming experience. And in other games, I just go, I'd really like to get past, you know, the grinding and just go and actually play the game. It depends. Like in Dragon Quest games, the atmosphere makes it feel, you know, very relaxing. And, you know, as a result, you know, I have fun grinding in those games. Except when it's, like, excessive, like Dragon Quest 2. Right. You know, I may as well, while I'm showing off battles, show off some of the other skills, which are... some are more useful than others. Hopefully we can get a decent battle. Okay, yeah, preemptive strike, that helps. So yeah, Palom has Boast, and what Boast does is that it raises his wisdom. Porum has Cry, and there's a bit of controversy with what it does. Enemy got flustered. Some people have said that what it does is that it, in this version, is that it makes enemies run away, but others argue it's meant to make it easier to steal from them, which is weird because no one can steal at this point. So there is quite a bit of there is a bit of controversy around it. I know that in the GBA version, it definitely does make enemies run away. It makes them... oh no, ambushed. I don't like that. It's gonna be bad for me. What was I saying? Yeah, in the GBA version, it definitely helps to make them run away, cry, and it can also confuse them. And then for the DS version, they changed its abilities again as well. So yeah, it has quite the history, and I'm going to try using Twin, which was a very early version of the combination attack. This is not the first RPG to use the combination attack. There were some before. Kaiju Monogatari, which I mentioned in my last History of RPGs video. And together they do Pyro here, which does excellent damage. Audio is bad again. This is really, really strange. Okay, let me do what I did. You know what, let me try something different this time. Okay, how about now? Did anything change? This time I tried a different method. Not going to talk much until you guys say anything. Better? Worse? No? Okay, let me do what I did before. Let me pause. Okay, that should have fixed the problem this time. What is happening? That's very strange. My apologies, guys. Yes, we blame the Lunarians here. It's their fault. Let's see, yes, Cry is necessary in the DS version. Oh, and Tella has Recall. Recall allows him to use any spell from his past, without any MP penalty, but you don't get to choose what it is. He just randomly remembers it. Tornado reduces someone's HP to 1. So this enemy should theoretically die now. Okay, there we go. Cecil leveled up, that is good. How about everyone else? If ever... 895? I guess we'll move on. Okay, we'll use a tent. Favorite party member? That's interesting. I'm tempted to say Cecil, if just because of his character. Because I do think he still is. He still is my, my favorite Final Fantasy protagonist. In terms of gameplay, though, hiss. For once, it isn't Palom. Okay, gotta beat these enemies. Can't remember if Twin actually costs MP. Well, I do not think that Medio can be recalled. I believe that one is specifically left out. Edge is a pretty good party member too. Definitely very useful because he just has so many abilities. For the GBA version, I really like Yang because you get to, use Yang again later. And the thing with Yang is that at higher levels, his physical attack capabilities are absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's just absurd what he's capable of. Okay. An evil presence draws near. That sounds very Dragon Quest. And the first fiend makes his appearance. Yes, it's true. Rydia might be the biggest damage dealer in the game. Her summons are ridiculous. My undead children shall feast upon your flesh. Okay, let's twin these guys, since I do think twin is fire-based. That should make things a lot easier. Scarmillione really can't do much here. Also, unfortunately, this game doesn't include the famous line. Oh yeah, steal Cecil's MP. I'm sure he has a lot of it. That finishes off them two. Yes, I don't think that will do much, but you know, we gotta make Cecil do something. Well, actually, I should be making Cecil use potions. That's what I should be doing. Yeah, we'll use fire. We won't waste fire yet. Let's take a potion, and who needs it the most? Cecil. Cecil needs it for himself the most. Well, a subledger, you're probably right about speed and cost. But sometimes I use Bahamut because it's just cooler. Like, yeah, it takes much longer to cast, takes much more time. But it's always very satisfying to use it. Yeah, is that a mod, Riemann? I have not played Phantasy Star 4 yet, but I have heard that it's quite an easy game and some hard patches have been made for it. Yes, let's use Kira. Oh, that healed him. Huh, I guess healing stuff only attacks him in the second part of the fight. Been a long time since I played this. Should be dead soon enough, though. No, not yet. That will be useful in the second part. DS version should have added QLEX. I've never done the post game bosses for the DS version. I should get around to doing that. They did seem very interesting. Oh gosh, this guy's taking a... You know what? Let me slow him just to deal with his, you know, his constant attacks a little better. That's much more like it. Ah, there we go. But yes, in the original version, in the original localization, there's a very famous line where he says he will cast you into the deep ravine. But yes, that has been edited out, unfortunately, for something more accurate. Column leveled up. Okay, well, you know, that wasn't too bad of a fight. I'm sure absolutely nothing will happen. I am totally not putting Cecil in the back row for any reason at all. I'm sure it'll be just fine. let's heal up for, for absolutely no reason, of course. I have absolutely nothing to worry about going forward. You know what? I should have gone back and used a tent. But that's you know what? I will. Just for the MP refill. Yeah, you know what? Let's twin, just to make this faster. Use fire in the back row, guys. Ooh, gosh, Palom holding on just a little bit there. But we're okay. Good. Well, as for post-game fights that require you to be level 99, honestly, it depends on, it depends on how hard it is to get to level 99, so I guess it depends on that for me. All rested up. I'm sure nothing bad will happen from now on. Let's save. So here's the unfortunate thing. I don't seem to have an elixir. And I know the elixir will one-shit Scarmelione. Not that I was planning to anyway. I was going to show it off. I think a Phoenix Down does pretty good damage to him as well. I don't know if that one-shots him. But, we'll see. Alright, saving for the Retron, just in case. Now let's cross this bridge, where absolutely nothing will happen. Drag you all into the abyss, and here we go. And this is why we put Cecil in the back row. This is a cool design, by the way. It's always impressed me as a kid. Still impresses me. You know what, let's test it out just to see. No, the Phoenix Down doesn't work on him. Interesting. Well, Kira does, so we'll do that. Cecil will be playing support, which means removing that poison. Okay, inhale my zombie gas. That does not sound good. Who needs... Let's use the high potions to heal. I'd rather not. White, and you know, we're going to start slowing him. Because that will make this much easier, because with everything on 1 speed and active, yeah, you know what, let's have some fun with Tella, have him recall, see what happens. If only all things were as easy as using Vanish Doom to defeat a boss. Yeah, that's pretty much the most reliable way Cecil can attack him. And we'll slow him one more time. We won't do all 3. But we'll leave him some room to move. For those who weren't here last time, all bosses can be slowed up to 3 times. All bosses can be slowed 3 times, and you can haste anyone 3 times. And it really, sometimes it makes the bosses too easy. I'll show it off in a few places where it's most appropriate. Yep, and that takes care of Scarmelione. I agree, Mediker, that he represents death rather than just, being an Earth Elemental. Though I think Lich in Final Fantasy 1 sort of did as well. falls into the deep ravine. There we go. And let's change things up. And we shall head in. Cecil hears his father's voice for the first time. Audio again. Ugh, okay, I'll fix that now. Okay, audio should be good now. And now we reach one of the best parts of the game. Oh, and I forgot to unequip Cecil. I don't think I'll have a chance to, but we'll see. But Cecil will be receiving a new power. Yeah, you're right, Wiseman, I forgot to. It's interesting that, that Cecil, he's allowed the change first and then the test. And I always really like this design. Like I said, I like it more than the Amano version. Well, that, Cecil receives the change first, and then he gets a test. It's as if, he's initiated and then he has to begin his training. And Cecil must overcome his past self. Charlie Fox, in the original Final Fantasy II release, you could actually attack him and defeat him. You didn't have to defend 3 times. And we get the Baron theme, recontextualized for Cecil here. We defend again. My first defense was a little late, so I'm wondering if I have to defend one more time. I do. Okay, this should be good. Oh, no, that's it. Justice is not the only right in this world. But yeah, I like how they, rather than a cutscene, they allowed this battle to be where, the development to play out. Old games used to do that. That I shall try to do. And Cecil has successfully class changed. And like I said earlier, what's so unique about this game is just how it used classes and class change as part of the story. That it wasn't something that was just in the gameplay, or Final Fantasy V has some connections, but this one, it really goes very far with it, in a way that, not many games do. Yeah, I was serious about changing. My son stopped my son. Yeah, it would be nice if the voice made things a little clearer at this point. Would have helped Cecil process some information. And Teller recalls all of his forgotten spells. And he remembers Medio, which he cannot use. He is indeed a great sage. Excuse me, the kids were about to tell me something, Tella. But, let's go. And here we go. Okay, so most dungeons in Final Fantasy IV are what I call bridge dungeons. They exist to bring you from one place to the next. The difference with this dungeon is that it's an inward dungeon. There's an end, and then now you have to climb back down, because I don't think anyone has warp or exit yet. Yeah, no one has. Well, maybe Tella probably does. Tella does have exit, and you can use it. But you do kind of want to walk down the mountain, and the reason is that Cecil's at level 1. And because Cecil is at level 1, you do want to get a few levels. It's not like a strict basic level 1. You can see he has 600 HP. But he is level 1 in that, you know, he is a... It's kind of like class changing in Final Fantasy III. You know, you've class changed, and now it's like the beginning of that class all over again. Or like it's the beginning of a new class that can now be raised up. It's kind of like how you get like the new set of classes in 3, you know. They're level 1, they're stronger than the last set, but they can be leveled up and grinded up to be, you know, even stronger immediately. So we'll get in, you know, a few fights with Cecil as a paladin. Oh, that's right, Cecil has no equipment. I really should equip him. Fyra. But everyone's a little bit stronger now. Now that Tella has all of his spells back. And now that Cecil as a paladin can now attack the enemies in this mountain, because before he was very ineffective due to the Dark Sword being something that couldn't attack a lot of the enemies, a lot of the zombies. But Cecil with, you know, a light sword now pretty much is super effective against everything here. And as you can see, Cecil just grabbed 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels. We'll walk down a little more, and you know, if Cecil gets to a good enough place, we'll use exit just to get things moving. What? May as well show Tella's list. Everything, and you can see Medio, which costs 99 MP, but he has exactly 98 MP. So let's see, what do I have? Would leather actually do anything? Oh, it does. It's something. I'm guessing the characters aren't naked. They have clothes, they just don't have armor. At least that's my interpretation. I did buy him the light helmet and the light shield, however, which should help. Oh, whoops. Let's go this way. Head on down. Yeah, this is a very easy place to grind up Cecil. Oh, well, I guess the enemies, you know, they know their place now that I have a light sword. Because no one seems to be paying attention to me now. There we go. Oh, of course we get back attacked. I despise back attacks. And they happen quite often in the 2 towers in this game. The Tower of Zot and the Tower of Babel. Almost at the bottom, actually. Wow, that was always quicker on the way down. Cecil's new ability is the cover ability. And what that allows Cecil to do is it allows him to defend anyone as long as he is covering them. He'll also cover somebody if they're... what's it called? If their HP is low enough, he'll automatically begin to cover them. And he also has a little bit of white magic, which, you know, will be good not for battle, but, well, it's sometimes in battle, but for, like, more for menuing. it's better to use his MP pool than, say, any of the other mages' MP pools, because, you know, you want to use them during battle. They're weak to thunder. Are they weak to thunder, or is thunder just that strong right now? But anyway, yeah, you'd rather use Cecil's MP pool outside of battle, rather than use your mages, who you do want to use, you know, in much trickier situations. Okay, gotta make our walk back. Should be a lot easier than last time. Oh, and there is the zoo, which we did not run into last time. I'll thunder it. And as you can see, that's pretty good damage to it. You can have Thunder and Thundaga, but Thundaga would take up a lot of MP at this point for for Tella, whose MP is so low. I do like the idea. The idea that age is reflected by the characters, like that because Tella is old, he forgets stuff, or that he had forgotten stuff, and that his MP is low and his speed isn't as high. Yeah, Sakaguchi was really good about that, having characters reflected in their stats. Another thing that should be known about Sakaguchi is that in his games, the youngest girl always has the highest magic potential, or it might just be the youngest child. Because in this game, Rydia has the highest magic potential, I believe. Out of all the characters, the highest, you know, magic stat potential, the intelligence. In the next game, it's Kryl who does. And then in Final Fantasy VI, it's, what's-her-face? The little girl. I can't remember her name right now. Slipping from my mind. The painter girl. She has the highest intelligence potential. I agree, Mediker. There was something about Sakaguchi's games that were very different from, say, Kitase, who he picked as his successor. There's a lot of what I call, you know, gameplay story synergy that seems to be missing. And we return to Mysidia. And let's talk to these people. Please, a paladin? I didn't think it possible. That's another thing that I really like about 4, or at least this city in 4. That, you know, people do, you know, react to this particular story beat. Everyone recognizes what you've become and what you've done, what you did. And, you know, they recognize you, you know, that your change was a real change. I don't think this guy jumps anymore. Eek. He's surprised. He's about to jump away. But he realizes, you're a good boy now. Oh, Realm, thank you, chat. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, and another thing that I like about Cecil compared to, like, well, yeah, I'm trying, guy. Give me a shot here, you know. You can forgive me. It'll be okay. I won't hurt anyone else, that's good. But, oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Slipped my mind. I'll remember in a second. Go in peace. But now it's radiant, thank you. And let's talk to the Elder, and the Elder is shocked. Hello, Nobo, welcome. Yes, Andrew Costa, this is that town, but that occurred earlier. And no one believed you, which is, you know, from their perspective, I could understand. Charlie Fox, I probably will go on until maybe, I'm gonna try for 8:30, we'll see. Oh, is my audio going bad again? Let me fix the audio one more time. Testing. Okay, audio should be good now. But yes, I've overcome my past and I am now a paladin. The sword with a Mysidian legend. And we get the prophecy. One born from a dragon's mouth. Hoisting both light and darkness. Rises up high in the sky over the still land. Veiling the moon in the light of eternity. He brings a promise to Mother Earth with bounty and mercy. So here's the interesting thing about the legend. It's a question of who... I always question who brought this legend. Because assuming that Cluya, Cecil's father, showed up around 20 years ago, or a little more than that, since Cecil is 20, then, you know, who brought the prophecy? It's interesting to think about. The time frames in this game's lore is, it could be seen as a little off. And Cecil seems to be the one spoken of in the prophecy. Batella just wants his revenge. That we did. Yep, Tella has a one-track mind. Oh yeah, what the DS version did is it took certain aspects from the original Final Fantasy IV script, because the script had to be cut down to 1/4 its size. So technically a lot was cut out. What they did was that they tried to truncate the script as much as possible, to say as much as they could with as little space as they had. So the DS version allowed them to add some things back in. And Param and Palom decide that they want to come with us. The Lunar Ruins from the Game Boy Advance version. Those also originated within Sakaguchi and Tokita's original script. That we will. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to these kids. Thank you, Tella. And we will head on back. I think for Final Fantasy IV, it did work out. It did create a very tight script. Like every word, every like sentence, really gets the point across. But you know, there are a few areas where I'm like, you know, they could have, you know, fattened the script a little bit here and there. Thank you, sir. Now we are off. Let's head upstairs just to satiate curiosity. The crystal room. Yes, and they're just praying up here. Thank you. Now we will be off. The Lunar Ruins, they're interesting because they give each character a dungeon in the GBA version. So you know they're good for that. It's a nice bit of extra dungeon content. Right, so let's do a few equipment upgrades before we head back to Baron. Excuse me, sir. Sell. Staff. Rod. Clothes. And head into the shop. Let's buy... Whew, that knight armor. But we'll take it. Cecil is our tank. Arms. Gauntlet. There we go. How are you doing, Tella? Geiger, Iron Ring. And what rings do the other two have? They also have iron rings. Let's get 1, 2, 3 silver rings and a wizard helmet. Let's give that to you. One for you. Silver ring for everybody, except Cecil. Yeah, someone mentioned the right-handed, left-handed earlier. Yeah, it's always a little detail that I liked. I wish more games had it. If just because, you know, it added that little extra something. I am using a Super Nintendo controller, Ultra Zappy. I am playing this through a Retron 5. Am I taking back seating? I remember most of what to do in this game. But if there's something I forget, you know, I wouldn't begrudge the chat from, you know, helping out. It has been a while since my last... It has been since a while since my, last playthrough. So yeah, if anyone wants to throw in something that I've forgotten, you know, I don't mind. I'm pretty sure I've done everything fairly okay up until now. Not 100% optimally, but fair enough. And items. I'll take 2, 3, 4, 5 just to be safe. Don't really need a cottage yet. And taking these just to satiate my... my saying is that if something can go wrong, it's, you know, it will go wrong. Don't always believe that, but, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to be prepared for the worst. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. I don't know if this lady still transforms you. I don't want to waste my time. Thank you. I do think I am quite noble looking myself. Indeed it is. Yep, thank you, sir. Alright, just so that we don't waste time. Oh, she does change you, does... I think she does change you. Alright, let's not waste time with that then. Yes, Charlie Fox, I believe most people do use the Reflex strat in order to beat Ashura. Especially if you go there as early as possible, which I will be doing. Because, you know, those summons are best gotten early. It is fun to have Leviathan as, you know, as soon as possible. Can you go to Rydia's house? At this point in the game? I don't think I've ever done that. And we are back. And what's down here? Oh yeah, it's just tutorial people. Okay, thank you. I think I know all this. Do they say anything new in Barren Town? Oh, well, we'll have to help sit out. A monk. Yeah, I've got some beef with Yang. I'll explain that, you know, as the game goes on. Well, you don't say. Let's see where I came from. Go back through the mist cave. Maybe I'll do that later. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have her in a bit. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Joanna. Let's talk to this kid. Yeah, but I have a nice shiny outfit now. Looks cooler, in my opinion. Talk to this lady. Okay, already heard that. The Western Building. Talk to these people. That leads forward and Sid's house very quickly. Remind me, who can use the dancing dagger? It's okay, we'll go find Sid. Thank you. And yeah, let's go to the inn and further the plot. All healed up, let's go. Let's go in here. Huh. Forgot to grab this stuff earlier, but that's okay. Don't be so demanding. And hey, it's Yang. He's alive. Yeah, I'm kinda not wearing that dark helmet anymore. And Yang has been brainwashed. And we get our next fight here. These two guards aren't too bad. You just basically use your use what you've got against them, and they should go down pretty easily. Except that one got minied. Okay. I know I got some dwarf bread somewhere. Huh. I thought that's how you heal it. Kind of forgetting now what heals what. I don't remember what heals being dwarf size. That's pig. Use bio for now. Of course I do, criminal. And we face Yang now. Ooh, and we got a crit. Very nice looking. You know what? Since we can, let's use Firaga just to take a look at it. Ooh, that kick hurt. I would appreciate it if you stopped kicking me like that. Oh gosh, they both went down. Oh man. This has not went well for us, because he's been kicking every second. Well, thankfully that ended. And Yang remembers us. Yeah, I really do have to look up what heals Mini. I think the mini spell heals Mini, but I didn't see it in the franticness. So one of the biggest complaints about Final Fantasy IV, and I do agree, it's that really unless you're over the age of 65, no one stays dead. And yeah, this is the first of many times that people will come back from death situations. That's right, the mallets heal Mini. Hello, Ice. Welcome. And we get a free in-stay, thankfully. But Yang is a huge help. His physical prowess is a lot. And here we go. Already going to sleep. By the way, has my audio been fine so far? Because it's been a while since the last screw-up. Well, at least you forgive Edward. Yeah, like I said, Smash Project, if you're over the age of 65, you get to die permanently. That hurt, man. Yeah, they kept him talking like someone who grew up in the 90s. It's okay, Yang. I'll have further reasons to be angry at you later. What is it? Oh, yes, and the Baron Key. Because we can't go in the front door. We must, of course, go in through a dungeon. Whoa, sorry about that. Okay. Alright, let's go. We should be set. I don't think Yang has any equipment upgrades. He basically has the stuff he had earlier. I don't think there's anything you can get him here, but... Oh, yes. Let's, use... I think the Baron Key can open this door? Oh, yes, it does. That's true with Wiseman. You have to see the body. If there is no body, there's always a chance they're alive. They could fall into a big lava pit. If you don't see the body, there's a chance they're still alive. Huh, I forgot Cecil could use the healing staff. Oh, whoa, not 10. Yeah, Yang's claws are good. We're not gonna get a bow. Healing staff... yeah, that should be fine weapon-wise. Oh, that's true. Sid blows himself up. Kenpo... Not enough. Oh no. It's disappointing. I really would like Yang to be fully equipped. Let's see if there's anything that I can sell really quickly that will get me what I need. I do have these iron rings. Not really. Not gonna sell those high potions. Okay. So, you know what? I usually don't use the added run function in order to keep this as legitimate as possible. But since everyone said that I should make a quick run for the what's it called? To go to Rydia's house, you know, I'll try doing that, because I don't remember ever doing that. Hopefully it won't take too much time, but since everyone suggested it, I think I will try it out. Yeah, Lufia 2 is much better than the first game. Though the first game does have one of the greatest plot twists of all time. Like, if I had to put all of the big SNES plot twists on a list, I would say that Lufia 1 comes in first place, because it is an incredible twist. That's the thing, will I have the money for the stuff in Mist? That's what I'm concerned with. You know what, just in case, I'll make a save here. And if it turns out, you know, it wasn't worth it, we could always just jump back to this point. I'll just run, that shouldn't be difficult. Oof. But then I'm losing that money. Hopefully I won't get too many encounters. That is true. It may drop the summon crystal. We may get lucky. That would be nice. I might grind for that off screen just to show it off. For some reason, I always thought you could only get back to Rydia's house through a glitch. Speaking of glitches, if you've never seen it before, I highly recommend the Final Fantasy II US glitch speedrun, because there is a glitch that will take you from all that. Ooh, I forgot that earlier. That will take you from all the way from, where is it? From the first time you reach the dwarf castle in the underground, and takes you all the way to the Zero Miss boss fight. That's a real glitch. It exists. It can only be done in the Final Fantasy IV localization. When it was Final Fantasy II, yes, it's the stairs glitch. And it basically allows like the person to beat the game really easily. Of course, they have to use a glitch to kill Zeromus too, since you obviously are not a high enough level to defeat him. But it's a pretty fun to watch. And if you're watching the speedrunner Bro Sencha do it, he makes it a pretty good time. I recommend it. Almost there. Just gotta clear these imps and head for that door. Thankful to have Yang back in his physical power. Sorry if you guys are picking up the vacuum. Someone is vacuuming outside. So I'm hoping that isn't a bother. It shouldn't be, it should only be for a few seconds at a time, like a few bursts of seconds at a time. Oh, wow. Yeah. There's a functioning city here. But I apologize for that tragic fire. Okay. Walk through black nothingness. Gold pin. Clothes. And a ruby ring. Who will I give these to? Because I don't want to forget to take them off of Param and Palam before, you know what happens. 13, 12. The silver ring seems to be better. Okay, and the gold pin, who can use that? Is that like a Rydia only item? No, they can use it. I'll just have to remember to take it off of her later. Okay, that should be good there. Hello? That's how you know about that. Okay, interesting. Hopefully not. Into the inn. Okay, so it's just naming way. Nothing in the pot. Yeah, I've heard Secret of Stars is basically, you know, your average generic early SNES RPG. Not one of the ones people remember the most. Oh, and this is the first hint of the lore of, you know, of that these summons live in a certain place within the world. Always a part of the lore that I really liked. Weapon shop. So the dancing is 5,000. Ugh, I don't have the money for that. No, it's 50,000. Oh my gosh. That is a lot of money. That I do not have right now, obviously, but let's see what else is here. I believe you guys said there's another passageway, so I'll have to look to see where that is. I'll buy a bard robe just to see if it affects anyone in an interesting way. Seems pretty cheap though. 17, 15, 18, 17. Am I buying 10 again? No, I bought one. I hope. I don't see it anywhere else, but I'll try to watch out for that. I didn't buy 10 of anything else recently, did I? Oh, I picked to buy 10 of those. Okay. Alright, let's try this one more time. 5,000. Okay, I still don't have enough, but it certainly is a lot less than the alternative. I guess I'll hold on to the ruby ring. Alright, I guess I'll come back later. I should be able to handle, yeah, my MP should be fine enough for the random encounters for now. Oh, but you guys said there's another passageway? Do you know which house it is? Because I'm not really sure myself which one it is, and I don't want to press against all these walls. Or was that the only one? Because I think someone mentioned that there was a rod in one of the houses. It's not the inn, is it? Oh, it's also in Rydia's house. Is it through... Is it up here then? Oh, there's another secret passage below the chests. Okay. Okay. Over here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Final Fantasy IV could be very, very tricky with these things. And the change rod. Okay. We'll hand that to Palom. Alright, now we're off. And with that, we can now head back through the Mist Cave and to Baron Castle. Just take a swig of water, mouth getting a little dry. So, one of the interesting things about Final Fantasy IV, I think it's a good time to mention it, is that it really was a new blood kind of game. A lot of the old blood had left Final Fantasy after 3. Hiromichi Tanaka wanted to do an action game. He wanted a real-time game. He was on Final Fantasy IV at first, and he liked the idea of, the ATB system. But he wanted, an overworld that, you could move through and that you could fight through. And so he went over and he joined the Secret of Mana team. Nazir Gabelli, he also moved over to Secret of Mana. He programmed that game. It would be the last game he would program before he retired forever. He's been retired since then, and that was 1993 or 94, and it's amazing that he hasn't worked a day in his life since then. That's crazy. He just made so much money off of the residuals that he's never had to work again and never wanted to. And a lot of people like Kawazu had their own franchises like Saga. Ishii was doing, the monasteries. So Sakaguchi had to basically pick out, a new breed and promote those who were below them and who were newbies. And the standout one among them was Takashi Tokita, who was I believe a theater actor. Yes, he was a theater actor. But as he worked at Square more and more as a part-time job, he decided that, he really liked making video games. And 4 was his full-time job. And for his first full-time job, he was allowed to co-write the game. He essentially took Sakaguchi's story and fleshed it out into a full script. And, this was the first game he really became known for. I imagine the creator of Pac-Man is retired. That guy I can easily imagine, never working another day in his life. But yeah, Tokita, he really deepened a lot of the ideas in this. A lot of the really deep for their time, or even now in some cases, deep conversations and things, really were what he was responsible for. And when the script was cut down and he had to tighten it, he really made it. He was the one who really made it work as well. So he does deserve just as much credit for this game as Sakaguchi. After this, he would, Tokita basically was given, directorship. And he wrote and directed Live Alive after this. Live Alive is probably my second favorite Super Nintendo RPG. It's highly underrated, but it's so good. And recently in an interview, he did say, I want Western audiences to play this game. And I do want Square to do an official translation for it. And hopefully we'll get that. Until then, I do recommend that all of you play the patch. Matthias, yes, the Final Fantasy IV analysis is in the works. Hopefully it will be out by the end of the month, if not very early next month. I really do want to make sure that it's it's as best as it can possibly be. A cliche. When I state my top 10 SNES RPGs, it's very contrary to a lot of what other people consider the best SNES RPGs. But the one constant my list have with others, and it's cliche, but I do think Chrono Trigger is probably the best SNES RPG. Okay, let's go. Yes, Charlie Fox, Live Alive is super underrated. And a lot of things in this game, in that game, you can see the prototype of hair. For example, like best friends having conflict. That happens twice in Live Alive, and it's very well done there. And and you can sort of see the origin of that in this game, between Kane and Cecil. And Live Alive took that concept and, went even further with it. Alright, let's head into here. Baron Key, and that opens up. Yep, that totally did not look suspicious at all. 1000 gil. And head into here. Yep. Yeah, the caves start getting a little more complex now. A few more off-branch paths. Got 3 chests here. High Potion, Ether, and a Zeus's Rage. Haven't run into many that are weak to electricity other than those zoos. Well, you know what? Here we have them here. Yeah, let's Thundra the entire enemy set. Yeah, Chrono Trigger is such a great game. It's just one of those games where, you do find people every now and then who don't like it, or who do think it's overrated, but, it's usually the minority. It's one of those games that continues to resonate with people. And even now, when you let someone play Final Fantasy VI now, it's difficult for them to get into it. When you make someone play FF7 now, they say it's good, but that really was a game in which, people were impressed with it in its time. With Chrono Trigger, people are impressed with that game to this day. Okay. Head up and around. Oh, jeez. Should I fight this? Should I run? I'll run. These guys are attacking my mages twice, and that's just not good. I know I can change and switch up and put, and change rows, but that just takes even more time. Okay. Yes, I agree. Chrono Trigger has aged well. Does not need... Sometimes people say it needs a remake. I don't think it needs a remake at all. I think it's perfect the way it is. It's just one of those games that stands the test of time. And I would like more games to do what Chrono Trigger did in terms of random encounters. In that, there's no transition screen. They all happen right there, on that spot, within that dungeon. Within that dungeon, just as it is. More games need to do that. Take all, and let's move on. There were supposed to be Final Fantasy V and 6 remakes for the DS, but they were never done. Hold on, let me just check something. Okay, we're good. Into the water. I know there's a secret here. And one here. Let's do this one first. I think so one of the flaws of FF4 is that, some of the skills become very obsolete with time. Just to show it off, Yang's kick, I think, really loses its force here. Which is disappointing because he was kicking our butt with it earlier. Ooh, this thing keeps using Tsunami on us. Let's use a little more healing. We could use it. You know, I like Undertale. I thought it was a good game, but I did not jump on the it is the greatest, bestest, ultimatest thing ever that came about. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate you know, what it did. But I'm not quite sure, you know, it wasn't the best thing ever made. I'll just say that. I didn't even know, Subledger, that you could use aim in conjunction with Rosa's staff. That's interesting. I might have to try it just to see that it works. Wow, I always assumed that you had to use a bow with it. Okay, let's head down here. Hopefully I'm not missing much of anything. Oh, can't see in the dark. I would definitely say that a lack of random encounters... Oh my gosh, back attack again. A lack of random encounters is the future, but I wouldn't say it's completely obsolete. We'll still get games with it. And I do like it when it's done well enough, when it's not too many encounters. But I wouldn't say it's gone altogether. Oh, you never tried. Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it a shot later, just for, you know, just for the laughs. Oof, these guys again. Punch stuff, Yang. Stop throwing your water at me. You know what? Let's twin you, just for the sake of variety between all of these fights. That's not what I want, but this is Thundra. I have... The 7 remake, I haven't beaten it yet. I'll say that much. Learned Berserk. Yes, Berserk is actually quite useful in this game in certain situations. Yeah, Charlie Fox, there was quite a bit of fanboyism that surrounded Undertale. You know, I'm glad it got some people into turn-based RPGs, but yeah, fanboyism can go a bit far at times. Oh wow, these fish are not weak to electricity. I forgot that the red ones have an immunity. All right, that's okay. We can punch and cut them to death, or twin them. Oh, the Switch ports of the Erdrick trilogy. Yeah, if you like them, that's you know, they are a decent way to play the game. I think my annoyance comes from the fact that there is no official US release of the SNES versions of the game. We've never gotten them, and we've never gotten NES re-releases. Like, if you look at all the virtual consoles and things like that, you know, we've never gotten a re-release of the NES games, and that really, really does, you know, frustrate me a little. And I would like to see those games finally get a release. Okay, up here. Oh, I'm not missing anything here, am I? Ugh. Gonna be dreaming of tsunamis tonight. Just water flow after water flow. But you know what? I am enjoying this one-speed active run. You know, you're just getting things, seeing things happen that don't usually happen. Like, you know, this constant tsunami is just not something that, you know, you usually see. So this is a very different way to experience the game. Probably the hardest way to experience it outside of just playing the DS version. So yeah, for those looking for a challenge, I do suggest the Naming Way edition with 1 speed on. Let's use Cecil to heal. That's not what I wanted to do, but okay. Nope, cure back up here. Yep, this is what Cecil's MP pool is good for. Healing in intermissions. You know, Smash Project, I'm happy that Ys 8 finally got, you know, the series more attention. Definitely needed it earlier, but you know, I'm finally happy Ys is getting the recognition it deserves. Ys Origin is my personal favorite. I recommend that to everyone, though that's best enjoyed played after 1 and 2 since it is a prequel to those games. Andrew Koss, this is the Naming Way edition of the game. Did Twin just fail? I forgot Twin could fail. Interesting. Whoops, not Firaga. No, not even Fire. Gosh, put the tsunamis away. Oh yes, sorry Andrew Koss. This is the Naming Way edition, which was a retranslation effort as well as a programming effort to make the game as close to the original Super Famicom as possible. It's not perfect. I mean, it's as close as perfect as we've gotten so far. But there are a few improvements that could be made. But as it is, it's the best version of the original SNES release that we have. And for that reason, I definitely recommend it to people who want to, you know, experience the original in an authentic way as possible. Ys 4 for the NES. Ys 4 has such a sordid history. So when when Falcom wanted Ys 4, they didn't make it themselves. At the beginning of the 90s, there was an event that people call the Great Falcom Exodus. It's where something like half of Falcom staff literally left. Oh no, Minied. But yeah, half of Falcom staff left to form 3 different companies. And well, thank you for miniing me back into my original form. I appreciate it. No, you just... Okay. What is even happening? Okay, he's dead. But, yeah, Falcom just had so many of its personnel just up and leave, just like that. And they did have their reasons. You know what? People are right. The save is different from on the mountain. Interesting. But, and as a result, Falcom, from then on, they made the Legend of Heroes games in-house. But the Ys games, they would come up with like a general story, and then they would give it to another company to do. And so with Ys 4, they gave it to 2 different companies, one to do for the Super Nintendo and one to do for the TurboGrafx. And as a result, those games are very different. The stories may have the same basis, but they're very different. And, oh, there's a passageway here. They may have the same stories technically, but like they're very different, and the TurboGrafx version of 4 is generally considered the better game. 5, What Ys 5? What to say about Ys 5? Ys 5 has great lore. Huh, the ancient sword is weaker. But it has a special use, right? I'm just not remembering what it is. I put the right sword back on Cecil, right? I know the ancient sword affects enemies in a specific kind of enemy, just not remembering what. Well, I think Ys 3 was the last one because I think, oh god, Minute again, because the series wasn't doing well, period, I believe. But it is interesting we didn't get 4 and 5, yeah. But yeah, Ys 3 was the last one that was done in-house, and even like the Super Nintendo and Genesis and TurboGrafx versions, those aren't even done by Falcom. Those were all handed to third parties to do. They basically said, yeah, make a game like the one that, you know, the original guys made for the PC 88 and 98. And that's why all of them are very different from one another. Like the Genesis version does not play like the TurboGrafx version. Yes, Smash Project I do. Witcher 1 is a dated game, but I do enjoy it. I do think that there are interesting things in the first Witcher game. Witcher 2, I'm going to make time to play later in the year. And yeah, Witcher 3 I did enjoy a lot. Though I did, maybe a hot take, I do think that the third act of Witcher 3 could have been better. I do think the entire Wild Hunt scenario and some of the ends of certain quest lines could have been a bit better. But yeah, I agree. Like what makes Western RPGs, especially like the really hardcore ones, really good, is that, you know, authentic D&D experience. And we come into this very convenient side entrance. We head up here. How am I doing on everything? Yeah, I can use some potions. Okay, almost there. Because we do have a boss coming up. And it's Baigen, I believe. Yes, Baigen. Medicare, you're thinking of the Legend of Heroes. Legend of Heroes was a spin-off of the Dragon Slayer series. Anyway, Baigen, the captain of the Royal Guard, is here. And Baigen joins the party. But we already have 5 members, so what's actually happening here? Did they teach you that in Mysidia, how to smell a monster? This is where, in the SNES localization, it says his acting is as bad as William Shatner, I believe. And we get our boss. And this is the first, like, tripartite boss fight, because you can fight his arms, and oh man, that's quite a bit of damage. His arms and his main body. I believe Twin is pretty good to use against him, if I remember correctly. Yes. Okay, we'll have Cecil Okay, yeah. Oh, this was also the first game to have very specific types of counters, and so Baigen will always he'll always use Reflect if you use a magic spell on him. I do think Twin gets past it though. Okay, we should be doing good. Baigen shouldn't be too difficult. Though I think the 1 speed makes him revive his hands a little faster than he usually does. Do I have Dispel? No. We'll boast for now. We will Berserk Cecil, because really, we're just having Cecil attack. So we'll just, you know, Berserk him. That should do well enough. And you know what? We'll haste them while we're at it too. And that will make Cecil attack pretty quickly. We'll keep using Twin, because it seems to be built for this fight, quite honestly. I'm looking for... Maybe I'm missing it because I'm looking so fast, but yeah, I am looking for Dispel. Oop, there's Cecil. Getting in those attacks. Let's cure. Yeah, I know one of the mages definitely has Dispel. It says that with the active on. You know what? I should really like pull it up like towards the top during battle. But yeah, that's not a difficult fight. Twin really helps out, and a Berserk Cecil really helps out. Yes, Charlie Fox, I know that method of reflecting reflect. Poor Cecil. Let's check. Kira, that raises. Asuna heals everything, right? I'm remembering my Final Fantasy correctly. Hold, silence. Haste. You know what? Gonna move haste to the top, because that's very important. Libra, I believe, reads the enemy, or is that sight? Gonna have to look that up later. You know what? Let's move. Exit can stay in the bottom. We'll move slow up to the top. Asuna heal status, right. Yeah, I guess no one has... Dispel yet? Ah, that's interesting. Giving me everything else. Okay, and I will... Since we don't want to run back to the save, I'll just use an Ether on him, and yeah, we should be good. Because we have one more boss fight ahead of us. And we confront our father figure. No, that won't do at all. Well, why not? I look cool now. And it turns out it has been an imposter the entire time. And then, Cecil, he just gets one revelation after the other. It's like, he finds, the voice of his true father. There's this prophecy, and the prophecy may refer to him. And now he finds out his adoptive father has been dead, for a long time. Really feel bad for the guy. And we get the second Fiend, also named after a demon from Dante's Inferno. This one being the Water Elemental, Cognazo. How is a big quad-pedal monster thing sitting on the throne like that? Okay, let's attack. Focus. Storing power, and he's weak to both electric and ice attacks, interestingly enough, if I remember that correctly. We will slow him, because we want to avoid those tsunamis, as you can see, really hurt. And the lightning scares him, basically makes him put down that wall. Okay, we really need that up above. You know what? I'm gonna... Where is it? Find it. Yes. We're gonna use another... We're gonna have him use a Silk Web because I want him as slow as possible in this fight. It's Thundara. Yeah, you know what? I should have brought 2 Thunderclaws, right? That would have been wise. I do have 1 Thunderclaw on right now, I believe. So Yang will be doing good damage to him anyway. And that will scare him. Thankfully, we seem to have looped him, which keeps him from doing too much damage. We'll continue focusing for Yang. Sciatella. Let's keep the thunder up. Oh, and that's well timed because as he puts that water up, the Thundra comes down. Let's get a haste on Yang, just to speed things up. Ooh, he went inside his shell. That's not fun. Let's see. I don't think there's... Yeah, he starts healing. That's annoying. Yeah, let's heal Cecil. No, come out of your shell. Stop healing. Let's, You can't stay in there forever. Come on out. Let's haste Cecil. Ooh, this guy, he's being annoying. Sometimes he won't even do this at all, and he'll just, you know... and he'll just, take his hits and die. But, no, he's being extra annoying today. Should have boasted before. That's what I should have done. Boast does not stack in this game, by the way. It does in other versions, but not this one. You can only use it once. Keep the curing up. Hopefully this Thundara comes down in time. Really? He has never played this defensively before. Very unusual. I've in all the times I've fought him in my life, he's never quite acted this defensively. let's Berserk Cecil just to get his turn out of the way, and so we can act as fast as possible. Wow. Blizzara. Oh, well, the Blizzara got him. Yeah, I guess he's a little more weaker to Ice than Thunder. I may be mistaken. Maybe he was only weak to Ice and I was playing it wrong the entire time. Should have looked that one up before. And we learned Exit. And that is the second Fiend down. And Sid somehow broke out of jail. Really, in the Game Boy Advance version, he usually dies fairly fast. But I guess he can play defensively in any version. Usually he only, like... Sometimes he won't even go into a shell at all. Golbez seems to be taking everything. Yeah, one thing I like about this game, it's not just banter between your main character and the other characters. They all, like, say interesting things to each other. I do like Sid gets into, like, you know, little fights with everyone on the team, especially Tella and later on Edge. Yes, speaking of crushed. I don't think you can unequip them now? Trying to remember. And we will be getting an airship at this point. Where nobody'd suspect, of course. No, you don't have a chance to unequip them. Which sucks, because one of them had an item I wanted to take, but that's okay. Oh yes, it does, Subledger. They do explain why Soft doesn't work on them. It's because they did it to themselves that it cannot be undone. At least that's the in-game explanation. And here go Param and Palam. And they sacrifice themselves here. And we are saved. As a kid, this was quite sad and quite unexpected. I mean, you know, the idea that a video game literally killed 2 children for the sake of its story. You see, he does try to use Esuna here to reverse the effect, but to no avail. Right, they became stone of their own will. I have not played FF Dimensions yet, Charlie Fox. Yeah, I haven't played any of the mobile games as of yet. The thing with this compared to Ney is that, you know, Ney stays dead. So, like, watching this, you know, every time after the first time I played Final Fantasy IV, this moment does lose a bit of power because, you know, you do know what happens later. And now Cecil's gunning for Golbez. Meanwhile... that I have grown strong. And they begin to strategize around you. What happened, Jordan Resin? You don't like somebody jumping from a ship with dynamite, blowing themselves up, and then coming back later? Ah, yes, the Red Wings theme. Perfect for finding new airships. By the way, this game shares the same problem with 3, in that there are like 1,000 vehicles and they're all airships, or most of them are. And each of them only have like one function that set each other apart from one another. And we have the Enterprise, our airship. And we have liftoff. And Kane approaches us from a Red Wings ship in order to tell us of what he and Golbez wants. No, Charlie Fox, Fusoya does not die. He's the one who, yeah, he and Golbez have a conversation at the end. Subledger, instead of the, canoe, I think they decided to give you the hovercraft instead in this game. So he wants us to get the Earth Crystal for them in Troya. And that seems to be the plan. I'm very glad the audio issues seem to have stopped. Never happened to me before, but yeah. Very thankful. And we have the airship. There are a few places we can technically visit, but I don't think we can get much from them with our current money, or even with our next current objective. Like, they wouldn't be of much use to us, considering the limitations we have in this section of the game. Alright, I always remember you have to land very carefully, because you pretty much can't land anywhere else but here. Oh, never mind. But here. There we go. No, I don't think there are superhero RPGs that are Metropolitan themed. I don't think so off the top of my head. That would be interesting. I have imagined one before. Like if they ever made a Live Alive 2, I would want like one of the characters to be a superhero. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of stuff made of wood here. Whoops. There, I did it again. Yeah. What is Sid currently armed with? Oh, he has wood, which is good. But yeah, there's a lot of, if you noticed, non-metal stuff around here. And that is for a good reason. Because the next dungeon is not kind to metal stuff. 2, 3. Really, Charlie Fox, does Tella have Tornado at this point, though? I don't see it, so, that is interesting if possible. The Smash Project, there is one chapter within Live Alive that takes place in the Wild West, so check that out. You know, I won't equip them yet, I just want to check something. Wizard, Gaia Gear. Because the next dungeon requires a bit of a change in equipment. I'm sure you're all aware of this. Okay, I do need to buy one more plumed helmet. Okay. I don't remember if you can use the ruby ring within the upcoming cave. Won't risk it, but we'll see. Let's look around. Hey old man, what are you doing? Oh. Yep, typical Japanese old pervert. Technically I'm already taking a dip, man. Can't excuse me, I do everything in my armor. I go to bed in my armor, I walk around all day in my armor. Just my lifestyle, man. Oh, you might want to look to the south. Is there anything back here? What is... So, down here, if you go around... This is the first appearance within this game of... Oh no, we have black chocobos here. Okay. Kinda cute, but kinda stink. Is this the only game that has black chocobos? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But yeah, you basically learn they're the only chocobos that can land in the woods. Let's go here. And, should be something. Right, you can enter here. Mark. FF5 had black chocobos, huh? Alright, well, you know, that is up for a replay. I haven't played it in a long time as well. Interesting that NPCs can enter these blackened areas. And I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy XIV has black chocobos. Because Final Fantasy XIV has everything in it. Okay. Nothing here. Excuse me. At least they move out of the way pretty quickly in this game. Oh, okay. I apologize. Yep, and that's the thing with the next cave. You cannot use metal equipment. The pub. Yeah, I won't buy the pass now, which brings you to the back area, but there is some stuff back there. Whoops. Okay. I do not have one, sir. Right, just a bit of generic dialogue between all of these. I'm not Stella. Okay. I think you're drunk, sir. Oh. No thanks, lady. I am spoken for. My favorite Final Fantasy soundtrack. Ooh, I have to think about that one. We have a woman and her sugar daddy up here, apparently. Alright, Charlie Fox, have a good night. A lot of jealousy up here. Yeah, these guys don't really say much. Definitely one of the weaker cities and NPCs. Can't even talk to that person back there. Interesting. But my favorite Final Fantasy soundtrack, you know, it might be 4 or 6 if I had to consider all the tracks altogether that both games do. Yeah, it might be one of them. We have the item shop, just making sure that whoops, I hope I bought 10 of something again. Okay. They don't sell high potions here, interesting. Right, and did I go into the inn yet to see if anyone is here? Nobody. They're usually in the front if they have an NPC here. Alright, time to head into the castle to advance the story a bit. That's this way. Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII has a pretty good soundtrack as well. And we have come to Troya Castle. Oops. Okay, there we go. And the Epopts, I think is the way you pronounce it. Yes, they are the leaders of this area. A little different from the other places, which use a traditional king. A Damsian man, I wonder who that is. We'll see. Troy is ruled by women. Even we troops are all ladies. Yeah, but you're kinda all using the same sprite. But okay. Check over here. This leads to the treasure we can't access yet, right? Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we'll come back here later when we can access the stuff. I like Edward, to be honest. As a playable character, no. He's fairly useless. We got a Bacchus wine there, by the way, which berserks anyone you use it on. But I like Edward in terms of his character, and I think that we are about to actually hit the part of the game where he shines the most, in my opinion. Got some nice stuff here. 2 tents. High potions. Two ethers. And ruby rings. Since they give the ruby rings here, I'm going to guess that you can use them in the upcoming cave. We'll see. Alright, back around. Yeah, we pretty much hit a huge story segment in the game. Not much gameplay until we finally hit the Magnes Cave. Just want to check my level really quickly. Because what I'm hoping is that I'm not under-leveled for this section. Okay. And it is indeed Edward. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it. Indeed, Edward survived and would like to fight alongside us, but he's too injured. Probably the most injured from that, from that shipwreck. No one else seems to have been, hurt that badly. Yeah, basically Edward telling us his situation. But yes, we do still believe that Rydia is dead at this point. I never noticed that Tella's glasses were different in battle and here. It's okay, Edward. You didn't really add much to combat anyway, other than the occasional status effect. And we're basically just explaining the situation to Edward. And we're told of our next enemy, the Dark Elf. Yeah, Final Fantasy still used certain, Western fantasy tropes this early in the series. And we get the Whisper Weed, which will be important in the next dungeon. Thank you, Edward. We shall do so. Alright, well enough. The last thing that we have to do is to talk to the leaders of the kingdom. I'm not sure that outfit, will protect you much in battle, but okay. Doesn't seem to give you much of a tactical advantage, just saying. Wait, are they actual sisters? Oh, well, I'm sure it fits you well enough. And here we have the leaders. So apparently the Dark Elf took the crystal. How did that happen? How did he get so deep in here that he managed to take it with no one noticing? We're basically told the gameplay conceit of the next dungeon. That, all of your equipment will basically weigh you down. And it basically preserves the land. That's similar to one of the crystals in Final Fantasy 1. The land began to decay without the crystal. You know what, that Dark Elf, he's a smart guy. You guys have weapons that beat me? Well, I'm gonna create a place where they don't work. Can't blame him. Sure, I mean, we're kind of planning to give it away. I'd say our reason is right enough. Okay, we've pretty much spoken to every NPC that we can at this point. And we're going to move on, I think. Here is the issue. Is there a place to get Cecil a wooden sword? Because I don't think the legend sword works within the next area. And I'm really not remembering now if you can get him some kind of wooden sword that works within the Magnes cave. Jordan Resin, I would say that about the first 4 Final Fantasies. They all kind of have, you know, they all borrow from Western fantasy a bit. Just want to check my items, see if I'm well equipped for this point. Yeah, I'm not remembering if, like, Cecil can even attack in the next cave. I did buy Ten's Maiden Kisses by accident. Just tracking a few things. Uh-huh. I won't re-equip them with the non-metal stuff until I get to the cave itself. Oh, I didn't use the inn. Yeah, that would probably be helpful. Kind of forgot to after the last 2 boss fights. You know, I do think that the... Here's the thing about, you know, early RPGs and, you know, being epic. I do think the early games were trying to be epic, but the difference was that they didn't have the technology to accomplish the level of what they wanted to do. They basically were trying to create a grand story within the limitations. And if you grew up within that era, yeah, if you grew up within that era, you would have been, like, really impressed by, like, Final Fantasy, like, 3, because that was a huge game in Japan. The 3rd Final Fantasy for NES. And I think it's us looking back and, you know, playing those games again that, you know, don't find them to be, you know, as epic or as grand as perhaps they had planned it to be. Okay, just want to get through this fight. I really might be under-leveled at this point. I'm hoping not, though. Then again, like, you know, Telekine has no MP and I have to run back and get him some. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? It's 8:30 and I only wanted to go for 3 hours anyway. In fact, my clock is saying I've been going for 2 hours and 55 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, after this fight, I'm going to end the stream. Let me just beat this guy and I will say my final greetings. Because I do want to test things out, make sure that I'm a good level, because I don't want to grind on stream. And if I do have to grind out a level, due to this being on 1 speed active, if I do have to grind out a level, I'd rather do that off screen rather than with you guys. So yeah, I do think we'll call it here. I do hope you all enjoyed this stream. If any of you have not subscribed yet, I hope that you would do so. Please like this video, by the way, just to get traction out there. If you would like to support me on Patreon, you may do so. I'll probably set up a YouTube membership for anyone who wants that in the future. Yeah, thank you for watching. Also, if you want to keep up with me, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'll probably stream again later in the week, and I hope you'll join me there as well. Thanks for watching, and God bless you all.